And then you make a big stop against Baylor. Baylor! Oh!
Oh shit, they actually did it! They actually fucking did it! So if I'm a Congress fan, that franchise guy is so fucking happy about that. Oh my goodness! Yeah! They actually did it, bro. He's so happy, bro. He was a nine!
I called it!
Well, we all called it. Did it? No.
Hold on, Warren. I know I'm supposed to fucking hate it. I don't fucking hate it. I'm just gonna keep it real. I hate it. Okay?
Oh, God. What?
Oh my god, bro. What the
Detroit is on the clock.
Get the... Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes, sir. Detroit is on the clock. Wow. And their pick is in as well.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
So, Chris, Dallas in a last-minute exchange decided to trade their pick off to the Detroit
What the
Lions.
fuck are you doing, Jerry? And could not leave the defense! You got me jumping! It'd be called cream pie smash.
Oh, God, dude. I knew it.
So, West Virginia played about as good as my fucking hairline is right now. And you probably see my hairline, Bailey. It is bad. Okay?
God!
For the love of football.
Happy Halloween here in the garden, here in the Pigskin Mafia podcast studio. I thought we'd get into tradition, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, the Pigskin Mafia podcast, live during Halloween. I'm your host, TJ Riddell, and let me just say, this mask is supposed to be talking at the same time, but it doesn't. I guess I just don't have a strong enough jaw, but it is what it is. I don't know. This is the first time I ever did something like this. Okay, I can't fucking do this with the fucking mask. Oh, Jesus. Okay. All right, we're here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, as I am covered in fucking fur. I'm bald. I'm naked right here. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pigskin Mafia podcast. We have a show for you guys. I mean, especially with what's happened in the last week with, and especially this morning where the Dolphins fired their general manager. LSU fired their head coach Brian Kelly and Scott Woodard, which I'll get to LSU here in a little bit. I mean, it's just incredible what happened over the week, and I'm really intrigued to see what happens this week going forward with the Dolphins, and not only that, several SEC teams and Big Ten teams that I'm keeping my eyes on to see what coach is being fired next. That's the world we live in today's day and age, and it is what it is, So, I mean, this is going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy time to live for a college football fan like ourselves. And not only college football, NFL side. Is Mike McDaniel going to get fired at some point this season? They're saying they're going to keep him at least till the end of the season. I doubt that. It just depends on what happens during the time frame that they tolerate any more discrepancies with their head coach, with Mike McDaniel. And is Tua going to be benched at some point? We don't know yet. But also, I did want to give a special shout out to the Mangold family. Nick Mangold passed away, unfortunately. He was an absolute legend on the offensive line. Played for the Jets. And also played at Ohio State. Shout out to the Mangold family. My condolences and prayers to them as they lived through a tough time. I'm sure Nick is in a better place right now than here because this place is fucking chaotic. But rest in peace to 74 for the New York Jets. It was a good thing. It was a good thing to see the Jets win after that happened. And yeah, rest in peace to Nick Mangold. But on a brighter note, Aaron Rodgers heads back to Green Bay for the first time in a long time to take on the Green Bay Packers. And let me just say this, that the Green Bay Packers whooped that ass. Who gives a fuck about what the score was? Anybody that watched that game, the trenches, everything, the Packers absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage, especially in the second half. Jesus Christ, I got that gorilla fur all over my mouth now. Ew. You know, it was a great win for Green Bay. And I picked the Steelers to win, but the Packers ended up winning that game. You know, the Packers are starting to look more and more like the team I thought they were. Just saying, I picked them to win the Super Bowl. And against the Bills, so don't be surprised if Green Bay wins the Super Bowl this year. Which probably won't happen now, but anyway, let's go over our picks. Game number 1 of week 9. Ole Miss travels to Norman to take on Oklahoma. This game wasn't really close. I mean, it was by scoreboard indication, but film-wise, Ole Miss whooped that ass. You know, Ole Miss absolutely dominated the trenches against Oklahoma. And I don't know what's going on with Oklahoma's defense. It just seems like that they're lackluster. Like they just care enough to go to a bowl game. I don't know what it is. But I did have Ole Miss to win. They won 34-26. Next game that I'm going to talk about is USF taking on Memphis. I was actually wrong on this game. I had USF winning this game, but Memphis came away with the win, 34-31. It was a good shootout type of game, and good win for the Memphis Tigers, honestly. Game number 3, we have Northwestern traveling to Lincoln to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And let me just say this. I'm not sold on Nebraska. But I picked them. They won 28-21 against a surprising Northwestern team. I just thought that Nebraska had more physical touch to the ball than what I saw with Northwestern. But I'm just not sold on Nebraska just yet. So, next game we're going to talk about is number 15 Missouri taking on number 10 Vanderbilt in a low-scoring affair. What was a good game, in my opinion, defensively. Vanderbilt, I picked to win. They won 17-10. I have a extremely bold prediction. heading into the Texas and Vanderbilt game. Iowa State takes on BYU. It was a good game, and Iowa State was down by 7 until the Rocco Beck threw a pick 6. And let me just say that Iowa State has really disappointed me this season. And I even picked them to win last week, and I'm a fucking fool for that, for trusting them. Iowa State loses 41-27. And same thing with Illinois. I picked Illinois to win last week. For some reason, I thought I picked Washington, but then I looked back on my film, and I picked Illinois, and I was looking at myself going, you're a fucking moron, you know. But that's what happens when you want to strive for greatness. You look back at your mistakes, and you try to correct it. Well, Illinois fucking sucks this season, and I backtracked what I said about Illinois earlier in the season. Washington ends up winning 42-25. Watered down Michigan beats the holy hell out of Illinois. Iowa. Whew. How about them Hawkeyes? They take on Minnesota. Which, let me just say this right now. Oh my God. I never thought I would ever see Iowa put up as many points as they did and give up as little points as they did. They fucked Minnesota up 41-3. They beat the everlasting shit out of Minnesota. And I just could not believe it. So, but this next game, as a Longhorn fan, I'm going to fucking talk about something before I get to the next few games. Texas takes on Mississippi State in Starkville, right? And what looks like another goddamn disappointing game for Arch and the offense, and, you know, the defense has more time of possession throughout this season playing on the offensive or playing on the defensive against other offenses than our offense. I mean, if you really look at it, the Texas defense is out there longer than the Texas offense. And you're starting to see through the injuries through the Texas defense, which Michael Taft, he's questionable, I believe, for this week's game. But he did not play in this game, so when people talk shit about Texas giving up X amount of points, I'm like, you're fucking crazy. You know, and I was scared about this game. I really was, because Starkville is not a place that will make it easy for you again. Just like Lexington, Kentucky. But like I thought, we were going to struggle. It happened. We were down at one point 17 points. And then the fourth quarter came around. It looked like the game was over. We scored a touchdown, and then they fucking throw like a fucking cheesy ass fucking check down that went all the way for a touchdown somehow. And then Arch started kicking it into high gear. And here's my frustration with Arch, right? If you could do it in the fourth quarter, how come you're not doing it throughout the entire fucking game, Arch? Like, we see glimpses of greatness through Arch, but yet he won't do it in the first 3 fucking quarters. It only happens when it's like last 3 minutes of the third quarter, and then he gets his head out of his ass and fucking makes good throws. Makes on-time, anticipated throws. And same thing with the offensive line. It seems like that the first 2.5 quarters, our offensive line doesn't know their fucking assignments. And that's why we keep getting 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. You know, and it forces Arch to make mistakes sometimes. And I'm fed up with it. I'm tired of it. I want to see consistency throughout the entire game. I don't want to see our offense struggle in the first half and then finally kick into gear heading into the fourth quarter. Because you cannot do that with Vanderbilt. You cannot do that with fucking Georgia. You damn sure can't do it against Arkansas or A&M. Because those are our two rivals right there. I don't understand why we like to play games like that. Why we love to play close games like this. When we know we're 10 times better than Mississippi State and Kentucky. But we give them opportunities and opportunities and opportunities because our offense is not productive. So, Texas, I picked y'all to win. Somehow, someway, y'all pulled it through, forced an overtime. Arch gets hurt with a concussion in the overtime, and Matthew Caldwell throws a beautiful fade route to Emmett Mosley in the back of the end zone where stupid-ass Brandon Walker's... Yeah, fuck Brandon Walker. I think he's a fucking bum, doesn't know what he's talking about, and is disrespectful to coaches like John Gruden. I would love to pick John Gruden's brain on his football IQ. Because as much as I think I know a lot about football, that man knows more in one fucking hair lock in his beautiful hair than I do in my own fucking brain. I like to think I'm a fucking smart fucking guy once it comes to fucking knowing the game of football. But when it comes to football knowledge, I would love to just pick John Gruden's brain a little bit. But, yeah, fuck Brandon Walker. I hope he fucking suffers throughout the season. And then we finally clicked it on defense, force a fumble on 4th and 20 or something, some shit like that. Like, Mississippi State is not a bad football team, like I said. The problem is they always come up short and they always find a way to lose. And it was evident in that game. They had that game well at hand. That was probably the best I've seen Mississippi State play until their defense got tired, you know. That's one thing I noticed. Their defense got tired, and our offense started clicking. But Texas, we got to play better. We really do. And I didn't graduate from there. I'm just a fucking lifelong fan that wants to have a degree there. And actually, I am looking towards to go into Del Mar and then Del Mar College in Corpus. And then get a degree from the University of Texas. Because that's what I want in life, is to be a Longhorn. I don't want to be anything else. I don't. I'd much rather have no degree than to pick a different school than the University of Texas. I'm choosing to go through the JUCO route. Technically, it's JUCO. Because I want to build up my degree, you know, and I never went to college, so it is what it is. I want to be a Longhorn, you know, and it's very evident. You see Texas right there. You see my starter jacket. You see my Longhorn hat above it, you know, and I want to be a Longhorn. I do. So it's going to take a lot of hard work for me to even get to that point. But I say we because I'm a fucking fan. I was 9 years old when Texas won their last national championship. 20 years later, I'm 29. So that should tell you how much of a fucking fan I am. And I'm a realistic fan. Texas, we need to fucking fix our mistakes because it seems evident that A&M has finally figured something out over there. And not only that, we got to face Georgia. And I'm not counting out Arkansas either. So, yeah, it's fucking bullshit the way we're playing right now. But Texas goes on to win in overtime 45-38. The second straight overtime in, I don't know the last time I saw Texas in 2 overtimes in a row. But the shit's got to stop. It gave me a fucking heart attack the first time. And I might have had a stroke against that Mississippi State game. And, yeah, that was fucking scary. But, anywho, next game we're going to talk about is Houston, 6-1, traveled to Arizona State, who was number 24 at the time. I say was because Arizona State lost. And Sam Leavitt is now out for the rest of the season. So Arizona State's going to be hurting a lot at quarterback, even though they got Jeff Sims playing for him. But Houston may be a legit contender for the Big 12 championship. I really like what Willie Fritz has done over there for the Cougars. And, oh, man. I am just excited to see how the Cougs do for the rest of the season. They look tough. They look like a really physical football team, and I'm excited for it. But the last college football game we're going to talk about, Brian Kelly's last football game that he's going to coach at LSU. And it was against one of his former assistants, Mike Elko, who beat him last year, by the way, in College Station. And not only that, Tim Moffitt, the strength and conditioning coach that Brian Kelly fired as soon as he got there, where did he end up going? He went to A&M to go coach over there, to go be the strength and conditioning coach over at A&M. And you wonder why A&M is starting to look like a legit contender now. And you wonder why LSU looks like a fucking fraud. Well, if last week's game didn't show you the difference between A&M and LSU, there you have it. And I like LSU. I really do. I like it. I like the fans. I like them a lot. But I knew that Brian Kelly hire was a mistake from the very get-go. And I'm pretty sure I've been very evident on my disdain and dislike for Brian Kelly. But I'll get to that here in a little bit. A&M whooped the everlasting dog shit out of LSU in Death Valley. I don't remember the last time I ever saw anybody beat the shit out of LSU in Baton Rouge. You know, and holy fuck, that was incredible. That was probably the best A&M game I've ever seen, in my honest opinion. Like, the most complete A&M football game I've ever seen. Probably since the A&M Alabama game where Johnny Football led A&M to that win against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And that was against A.J. McCarron. Shout out to A.J. But, man, A&M, they're cooking up a storm right now. And SEC better watch out. Because A&M looks legit right now. And I know I've been a hater towards them. But, holy fuck, they look good. And it shows it. They whooped the dog shit out of LSU. Fuck the 25 points that LSU scored. That last touchdown that they scored was garbage time. If you ask me, it's 35 to fucking whatever the fuck. You know, it's absolutely crazy how bad LSU played that football game. And I felt so bad for Garrett Nussmeier. I felt bad for those players. Weeks too, you know. I felt bad for those guys because they've been there. They were loyal to the program. And they're good football players, you know. And you see a culture like a Brian Kelly controlled. And I say controlled because there's a reason for that. He's a fucking dictator. He's not a fucking CEO. It was just absolutely insane the way that went down, and it was very disappointing to watch as a fan of college football. It was great to see A&M have a really complete game, but on the flip side, you look at fucking LSU, and you're thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is LSU doing right now? So then, I'm thinking in my head, is LSU going to fire Brian Kelly tonight? Because it looked like it. The stands were completely empty. It was nothing but maroon. I swear to God. It was nothing but maroon. And they were singing that stupid fucking fight song where they're singing about the University of Texas in Baton Rouge. That's where I was like, yeah, if I was the president of, or if I was the AD of LSU, Louisiana State University, I would have fucking fired him on the spot. I would have said, don't worry about cleaning out your shit. We already took care of it for you. I would pack your bags. I would go if I were you. I'm surprised there weren't fucking pitchforks. I'm surprised that there wasn't fucking anything that was going to chase him down. And not only that, the day that he got fired and ran off with $54 million fucking dollars, he sat at a fucking restaurant and by himself because nobody fucking likes Brian Kelly. I don't know a single person in God's green earth that could say a good thing about Brian Kelly. Because if you watch his shit, if you have read about the shit that he's done at Notre Dame, at Central Michigan, I wouldn't be surprised either, you know. But I will say that he does win, but he doesn't win the big ones, you know. It's almost like, I don't want to compare him to James Franklin because I actually like James Franklin. I think he's a great coach and a great guy. Unlike Brian Kelly, I think Brian Kelly is a fraud. I think he's an absolute fucking fraud. And if you don't believe me, how come he didn't win a national championship with Notre Dame? How come he never won a national championship with LSU? How come after that SEC championship appearance, notice I said appearance because he didn't win it. It's been mediocre after mediocre after mediocre. It's just like Jimbo Fisher all over again with fucking A&M. Now, we got a guy in Brian Kelly running away with $54 million fucking dollars after he had one of his players almost fucking die. He almost fucking died playing this sport, and Brian Kelly did not check up on him. There were multiple LSU players that spoke out against Brian Kelly after this game. Like every LSU alum that played under Brian Kelly spoke out against this guy. And then the alum that didn't play under Brian Kelly spoke out and said, we need to fire this motherfucker. And I saw one that was disgusting. Like, the dude was injured, and Brian Kelly treated him like he was garbage. Like, he didn't pay any attention to him. He didn't do anything. He didn't ask, how are you feeling? When are you going to be back? Nothing. It's like if you got injured during Brian Kelly's tenure, you were fucking nothing to him. You were useless. It's almost like Varsity Blues. I was watching that with my dad the other day. I forgot that actor's name. Voight. He coached as Bud Kilmer. Brian Kelly was a real life version of Bud Kilmer. The only difference is, at least Bud Kilmer would try to accelerate his players' injuries. He accelerate the healing process of his players' injuries. Brian Kelly didn't do a fucking thing for his players. He's a fucking scumbag. In Notre Dame, there was a fucking storm of some sort, like 80-mile-an-hour winds or some shit. I don't know, but he told a kid that was not even qualified, not even part of the fucking team, but part of the film crew. He said, "Get up there on the scissor lift." First of all, what the fuck is he doing on a goddamn scissor lift if he's not fucking qualified to get on a fucking scissor lift? Gets on the scissor lift, and the wind takes him over and fucking dies. Right? You would expect that the practice would be canceled or moved elsewhere. More importantly, canceled. Nah, we're going to practice outside. What? What? Are you kidding me? This motherfucker. And then we get to, before that, there was Central Michigan. Oh boy. Central Michigan had Matt LaFleur and Robert Saleh as GAs over there with under Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly invited them to a party. They thought they were invited. Nah, he had them work as chauffeurs. He had them working as shovel boys because there was snow during that time. And then after they got done shoveling the snow, they had to move the cars back. Like, who in their fucking right mind would like this guy? The guy's a dick. He's a prick. And not in a good way. He's a fucking scumbag. I would never, ever in my entire life ever treat, if I owned a company or even if I was ever a coach in my lifetime, I would have never, ever treated my coaches that way. I never would have treated my employees that way. I never would have treated JMO or Caleb or Jay, for those old PMP fans, Jay, who was on the first iteration of the PMP. I would never treat those fucking guys the way that fucking Brian Kelly treated his players and his coaches. And even guys that weren't even a part of the fucking program. Guys and gals. You know, Brian Kelly should never fucking get a head coaching job. He should be fucking internally investigated and should be responsible to give LSU that $54 million back. And not only that, serve prison time. Because he's had people die on his watch at Notre Dame. He almost had one of his players fucking die and did nothing about it. I feel like if you're a coach and if you have obligation towards your kids, wouldn't you think it would be your job to make sure that your fucking kids are alright and that they're receiving the best treatment? This motherfucker never checked in with anybody. When Kyron Lacey died, he never once asked about Kyron Lacey to Kyron Lacey's dad. It is shocking how the NCAA just does nothing about it. And not only that, LSU didn't fire him for anything other than losing a couple of games. Fuck the games for a second. What about the people that fucking suffered under his watch? Like, seriously. The dude at Notre Dame rushed one of his GAs, grabbed him by the fucking shirt like he was about to fuck him up. The dude has a fucking anger problem. I don't know why he still keeps getting these fucking jobs. For one, he's a fucking fraud and a mediocre fucking coach. For two, he's a irresponsible coach. So fuck him. I hope he never gets a fucking job again. Not even at fucking McDonald's as a fucking general manager. Enjoy your fucking $54 million, Brian. I hope it was fucking worth it. Fucking scumbag. I'm just over Brian Kelly. I am. If he gets another fucking job, I'm probably going to crash out. It might be live. It might be on TikTok. I don't give a fuck. I might be on the shitter in finding out that he got another job. Another Power 5 job. He should not get another fucking Power 5 job. At least. The man is irresponsible. He is a lunatic. He is a dictator for no fucking reason. And he's a fucking scumbag. When he did that fake accent shit at LSU, I never wanted to fucking just be so embarrassed for a fan base until I saw that. And again, I love LSU, like the pride and tradition of LSU. I love the fan base. I love everything about LSU. But that Brian Kelly hire really set y'all back. It really did. Like, I would have much rather y'all have kept fucking Ed O, who actually loves LSU. And I believe he said he would love to come back to LSU, probably as an assistant under Lane Kiffin, but I doubt Lane's leaving Ole Miss. That's just my opinion on that. But yeah, fuck Brian Kelly. He's a fucking miserable piece of shit. And I hope that one day justice comes back and bites him in the ass. Because one too many deaths under his watch, and he got away with it. That should tell you right now that the non-caring assholes of America don't do shit for their for the players. So, yeah. I'm fucking over it. I'm done talking about Brian Kelly for now. And I hope I don't ever see him in the fucking news again. I don't. The only time I'll ever want to see him in the news is if he's going to fucking prison. Honestly. But good win for A&M. Program change. That was a culture win right there for A&M. Now we're going to move into the NFL side of things. I actually went 4-1 in my NFL predictions. Game number 1, the Vikings took on the Los Angeles Chargers. Pardon me. I just burped out that sesame chicken. Ugh. And boy, oh boy, the Chargers whooped that ass. 37-10. Good game by the Chargers. Just Herbert, everybody, good job. Just absolutely good job. Then we get to my Cowgirls and the Denver Broncos, who are now 6-2 after beating the everlasting fuck out of Dallas. Tripp's fucking smiling and dancing kumbaya because Denver fucking rubbed their fucking nuts on Dallas' forehead, and Dallas went up and sucked it off. You know, it was bad. The Dallas secondary is shit. The Dallas is shit. Best offense in the NFL, but the worst fucking defense. So good win for Denver, 44-24. The Bills took on the Panthers. A Panthers team that looked like they got a little resurgence going on and finally figured some things out. Nah. I picked the Bills outright, and they fucking wore their asses out. Buffalo wins 40-9. Not much more I could say about that. And Buffalo doesn't have a whole lot of targets for Josh Allen either, so that's pretty bad, if you ask me. And I touched on it earlier. The Packers, they were down at one point and then came back and pretty much dominated the rest of the way. Micah Parsons had a really decent game. Jordan Love had a good game. The Packers receiving core is unbelievable. And a very dangerous football team is rising up in Green Bay. Like I said, they're still my Super Bowl favorites. And then Pittsburgh, they just look shitty. They really do. And they don't have enough weapons for Aaron Rodgers, so we'll see what they could do to try to get A.J. Brown to reunite with DK Metcalf. As they lose 35-25, and they were the only ones that I picked wrong. Commanders at Chiefs. The Chiefs Are they resurging? The answer is yes. It didn't start out great in the first half, but then the Chiefs bounced their fucking way back into the game. Won 28-7. Now, I want to address something real quick. I really do. So, I made a video. I made a TikTok first, then I made a video. So the TikTok, well, both of them are kind of shitty replays of that same play that I tried to replay because it was moving too fast, so I tried to slow it down in my own way, and I fucked it up. So first of all, I apologize for that. Okay, so the second part is, on the TikTok, I made a smart-ass little thing saying he was over the line, the NFL should be investigated for betting. I was making a joke, obviously. And, of course, Chiefs Queendom decided to jump in and just fucking say, you don't know football, la la la, you don't know the rule, blah blah blah. First of all, I know the rule. And second of all, he made a legal throw. And then on the Facebook side, all I did was ask a simple question. So, I asked a simple question, right? Was he over the line? Yes or no? Simple as that, right? You don't know football. You need to read the rules. You cry about the Chiefs winning. Another asshole or another pussy crying about the Chiefs losing or winning. The Chiefs got penalized more than the Commanders. Blah, 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 blah. Look, Chiefs fans, I was asking a simple question on Facebook. Was he over the line? No! His back foot was behind the line, so it makes it a legal throw. So why the fuck are you guys attacking me? Well, I shouldn't say attack because y'all are just pussies online. Anyway. And y'all won. Of course. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about the question? Just answer yes or no. Y'all don't have to fucking have a big song and fucking dance about how fucking people are retarded and don't know how to fucking read rules. First of all, I already knew the rule. Second of all, I knew he was making an illegal throw. I just wanted to ask, because of the simple fact that people actually believe out there that the Chiefs are actually cheating. Well, let me explain something to you guys. It's harder to cheat in football than it is to cheat in NBA, in baseball. Baseball and NBA are basically WWE. It's harder to cheat in football because of the simple fact that there are less chances of cheating in football than there are in basketball and baseball. Are there still cheats? Yeah, absolutely. Everything has a cheat. But my God, guys, all I did was ask a simple fucking question. There's no reason to get hot and bothered by a simple fucking question. Honestly. But yeah, I'm very disappointed in the Commanders, though. Like, Jesus Christ, they looked horrible. And not only that, they won't even put they won't even put the Redskins' actual logo on the fucking helmet. So why even bother with the Commanders, you know? They're horrible. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the last topic of the night, which is the top 10 games that I picked to make my predictions and picks, and NFL top 5 games. But before I do that, we'll be right back. I gotta go do something real quick, just real fast. And we're back. Holy shit. Motherfucker. I'm sorry that I came in, or I had to exit out a little bit early just a second ago. I don't know what the fuck happened. I had bubble gut all of a sudden. And I had to take care of some business, so that was a first time. Oh shit, that was insane. Like, what the fuck happened? I go off of a rant about Brian Kelly and all this other shit. Next thing you know, I'm about to start up on the picks and predictions, and I'm like, oh shit. I gotta take two real quick, right? So, oh my god, I'm sorry, folks. But anyway, here's our picks for this week's college football games, top 10 games for week 10. One more week until the college football playoff rankings come in, and we'll talk more about that whenever it comes out Tuesday. On Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So be there or be square. I'm really excited about that because now we'll see some actual rankings that, okay, it doesn't really make sense, but it makes more sense than what we've seen through the fucking AP poll. That AP poll's gotta go. I'm sorry. There should be no more fucking preseason polls. Because, yeah. A lot of teams were overhyped this season. I'm just going to say that right now. A lot of fucking teams were overhyped. And I never understood why Ohio State wasn't number one in the country after winning a national championship. So, that's my take on that. But, yeah, tune in next week for that. But let's go ahead and talk about our top 10 games of the week for college football. Game number 1, we got the Miami Hurricanes, 6-1, traveling to the DFW area to take on the SMU Mustangs. Last year's Cinderella story, along with Boise State. This one of two ACC teams in the college football playoff last year, but now they're looking to play spoiler against Miami. Miami is number 10. They're 11.5 point favorites. The over and under is 50.5. SMU is a plus 320 money line underdog. Now, I understand that the odds have changed. I haven't even seen it. I haven't updated it. I don't care to update it right now. I'm not changing it. I think this is going to be a tough game for Miami, if I'm being honest. Because SMU is still a really good ball club. They're just not a very good road team. They're very good at home. Miami, they've been struggling over the last couple weeks, almost a month that they have struggled. I'm not really sold on Carson Beck. And you know what? I'm going to go with SMU on this one. That's my first upset pick of the week. I'm just not really sold on Carson Beck in Miami. And remember, these are the initial odds that I put up there, and the odds have shifted. I'm sure that Miami dropped down to like 8.5 or something like that. I don't fucking know. I haven't even looked at it. But yeah, I got SMU winning. Vanderbilt 7-1 travels to Austin in DKR to take on my number 20, 6-2 Longhorns. Now this is a big game for the SEC. Why is it? Because Vanderbilt is on the cusp of being in the SEC championship. So is Texas. Texas' only loss in the SEC is Florida. Vanderbilt's only loss is to Alabama. Now, let me explain something to you. And this is why I took this bold take. I don't think Vanderbilt is going to score over 17 points against Texas' defense. And here's the reason why. Vanderbilt is not a very good road team. They're not good against road teams like Alabama. And Texas has a better defense than Alabama. Realistically. Now the question is, can the Texas offense help the defense out? And I'm going to answer that. I think they will, in the sense that this is going to be a defensive game, in my opinion. But I think that our offense is good enough now to where we can actually finally find rhythm throughout the game. But I'm not completely sold on that answer from myself or the offense. I'm more confident in our defense and our defense's ability to stop Diego Pavia in that. And here's the thing. Vanderbilt's primary attack is the run game. What's Texas really good at? Stopping the run. So, if I'm Texas, I'm going to try to do my best to play run-stop defense throughout the entire game. 5-man rush, 4-man rush with a QB spy. Contain Diego Pavia in the pocket. He is not good within the pocket. He's good outside of the pocket. He's not good within the pocket because he's too short, and once the pocket collapses, he's going to get crumbled inside that pocket. And I don't think Vanderbilt's O-line can really handle Texas's defensive line like that. And also, our defense is physical. Like, really, really physical. And they do not do well against teams that play smash mouth with them. You know, and Vanderbilt's used to playing in their home turf right now. We're used to playing on the road, but we play really well when we're at home, is what I'm saying defensively. Offensively, yeah. But with the defense creating turnovers and stopping Diego Pavia in that run offense from Vandy, because I'm going to dare say this. I think Texas has the best run defense in the SEC. Like, there's no other team that you could put up front and say they have a better run defense. You may have a better total defense because we haven't been good on the pass defense. And we've actually played a little bit softer over the last few games since the Ohio State game. But I feel like we're going to try to attack Diego Pavia in this game, and that's what we need to do. 5-man rush. Create a perimeter around the edge and force the pocket to collapse on Diego Pavia or in the run game. That's it. It's really that simple. defensively. And again, I don't think that Vanderbilt's going to score over 17 points against Texas. I don't. Their offense isn't made to be built to play shoot 'em out football. And Texas defense is really fucking good. Because if you ask me, what do you think I would say to why Texas is 6-2? Their defense. Fuck the scoreboard. Fuck the yardage. We know how to stop teams. We know how to set the tone on defense. Give me Texas to beat Vanderbilt at home. And I think it's going to be a statement win, honestly. It ain't going to be a cultural win like we've been saying. I think we're a lot better than what we give ourselves credit for. But in order to show that we're better than what we than what we give credit for, we have to show it on offense. And defensively, we have to continue to put pressure on Diego Pavia to where he has trouble throwing the football. And we have to force him to throw. I am not going to sit here and bullshit you guys when I say I do not think that Vanderbilt will score over 17 points against Texas defense. When Vanderbilt is a primarily run offense, Texas is the best run defense in the SEC. And Vanderbilt is not good on the road. So stop with this narrative that Vanderbilt's so great and Diego Pavia is so great. How come Diego Pavia is in the Heisman race when he's got the same stat line as Arch? Think about that. And Arch has a little bit better stat line than Mr. Pavia, with all due respect. Crickets. I'm telling y'all, don't trust what people hype up. Because what happens is, the hype ends up turning into shit. And you might have another TJ's I told us so moment. You don't want to see me pull this out next week. Because I will. Because, yeah. I'm not kidding. I don't think that I am confident enough to say that Vanderbilt's not scoring over 17 points against fucking Texas defense. And if they do, kudos to them. I don't give a fuck. I'm confident enough to say that they will not score over 17. I don't give a fuck about yardage. I give a fuck about points. And honestly, Texas' run defense is the best in the SEC. It's proven. We just don't have a good pass defense. Without Michael Taft. With Michael Taft, we have a little bit different side of the secondary. Without Malik Muhammad, it's a little bit different because our corners aren't the same. Without Michael Taft, our safeties aren't the same. But with Michael Taft and Malik Muhammad coming back, I think Vanderbilt's in trouble this week. As good as they are, I don't think they're going to score 17 points against that Texas defense. I just don't think so. So far I've picked SMU and Texas. Game number 3, Navy will travel to North Texas to take on, or will travel to Denton to take on North Texas Mean Green. 7-1 North Texas taking on the undefeated Midshipmen. Listen, I like both programs. I really do. North Texas is a very high scoring offense. Navy is that traditional triple option, but here's a difference maker that nobody's talking about in the nation. Motherfucking Blake Horvath is a difference maker. He's a game changer. I love me some Blake Horvath. That guy is fucking awesome to watch. And then Eli Heidenreich. He's fucking good out there. You know, I like all those guys. Those guys on that midshipman team are great, man. And on the flip side, Mestemaker, man, how come that kid's not being talked about in the Heisman race right now? Damn good quarterback, outstanding quarterback with outstanding talent surrounding him. I think it's going to be a fucking good game. It's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. Give me anchors away, my boys. Anchors away. Give me the midshipmen. Yeah, I said it. I'm going with the midshipmen because, for one, it's a little bit of a bias pick. But for two, I actually legit think that their offense is fucking amazing to watch. Like, when you can put up 300 yards passing in a triple option style offense, you're special. Just saying. Next game we're going to talk about, Arizona State travels to Iowa State. Now, I stated earlier that Sam Leavitt is going to be out for the rest of the season, and I believe genuinely that it's going to hurt Arizona State throughout the season. Iowa State kind of wishy-washy in games, lost to Colorado, lost to Houston, or lost to BYU in some pretty close games, but without Sam Leavitt, I think Arizona State is kind of cooked. Not in the sense that they'll be 5-7 or whatever, but I just don't think that they could beat Iowa State. Iowa State's too good to let Jeff Sims win. But I swear to God, Iowa State, if you fucking fail me in this game, I am never picking you ever again. I don't care if you play against fucking Northern Iowa or fucking the School for the Deaf and the Blind, because every time I pick you, you end up losing. I don't know what it is. So, Matt Campbell, Rocco Beck, y'all need to get y'all shit together. But I'm picking y'all. Possibly for the last time in my lifetime. Until y'all can prove me something. So, Iowa State over Arizona State. Game number 5. We have New Mexico 5-3 at UNLV. Let me make this short and sweet. UNLV. I got UNLV winning. Number 6, Texas Tech travels to Kansas State. Now, this is the craziest thing. This is supposed to be the 30th anniversary of the Big 12 Conference this upcoming weekend. 30th anniversary of the first game in the Big 12 between Texas Tech and Kansas State, which is pretty fucking crazy. And ironic that Texas Tech and Kansas State play this upcoming week. What a fucking series between these two. Anyway, some classic matchups, but I gotta keep it a buck. I'm not sold on Avery Johnson. I'm sorry, Kansas State. Y'all got to play tough, but I got Texas Tech winning. I just think they got too much talent, even without their starting QB. Georgia Tech, number 8 Georgia Tech, 8-0 for the first time since 1966. Taking on NC State, the Wolfpack. They are in trouble indeed. Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech's offense is too physical, and their defense is pretty fucking fun to watch. So, yeah, give me the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I want to see them go undefeated and play against Georgia. I want to see that matchup, even though I want Georgia to lose to Texas, but I do want to see that matchup so fucking bad. 11-0. Georgia Tech versus 9-2 Georgia. And a possible playoff matchup between those two. We get Georgia and Georgia Tech twice this year. Maybe. That'd be nice. And here's our supposed game of the week. And I say supposed because I'm not really sold on this game of the week. Number 18, Oklahoma, travels to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Titans. Neyland's going to get rowdy and rough. Oklahoma's inconsistent on offense, and their defense is slacking horribly. And Tennessee may not let off the gas pedal like Ole Miss did. I'm giving this to Tennessee. I'm not really sold on this Oklahoma team. I like I can't say that. That's fucking blasphemous. I respect Oklahoma, but I do not like the way that they are conducting their offense. And not only that, their defense is super inconsistent after the Texas game. It seems like that their life just dropped. Like their lifeline just dropped after the Red River rivalry game. So, 2 more games here. USC. Yeah, number 23 USC travels to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They're 6-2. Matt Rule just extended to 2032. Pretty exciting stuff in Lincoln, Nebraska. We haven't seen this much excitement in Lincoln since the man, it's been a while. But honestly, I'm not really sold on Nebraska. I'm really not. Give me USC to win this game. And then finally, we got College Game Day going to number 17, Cincinnati. 7-1. They'll travel to Salt Lake to take on the Utah Utes. Now, College Game Day will be there. This is a Big 12 title implicated matchup. Utah is looking really good, especially after that ass whooping that they gave Dion and the Colorado Buffaloes, or actually Prime University. I gotta tell you, Cincinnati is pretty cold, but I think Utah is just way more physical. I like Utah in this matchup. Give me the Utes to win this game. And now we'll move on to the NFL. We'll make this quick, as we're almost in an hour 30. Game number 1, the Chicago Bears taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bears are 2.5-point favorites. Over and under is 52.5. Money line is Cincinnati plus 120 money line. I'm going with Chicago. I just don't think that Cincinnati's defense is that good at all. And even Caleb Williams can fucking make good throws against Cincinnati. So, give me the Bears. Game number 2, the Indianapolis Colts, who are surprising as hell each and every week. 7-1, traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the 4-3 Pittsburgh Steelers, who have really struggled over the last couple weeks and got their ass whipped by Green Bay. The spread is Indianapolis is a 3.5-point favorite. Over and under is 48.5. Pittsburgh is a plus 140 money line underdog. I think this will be a close game, but I'm going with Indianapolis. Give me the Colts. Game number 3. The Carolina Panthers, who are 4-4, taking on my Super Bowl favorites. And shout out to Grandpa Butch. The 5-1 Green Bay Packers. Go Pack Go. Spread. The Packers are 12.5. Over and under is 45.5. And Carolina is a plus 550 money line. I'm going with the Packers in this game. I don't think the Panthers are that great. I just think they beat really shitty teams. And the Packers are just rolling right now. And also, they're my Super Bowl favorites, so I got to pick them. Game number 4. This is the game of the week for sure. The Kansas City Chiefs, 5-3, taking on the Bills, who are also... Apparently, I don't got their fucking record on here. But anyway. Jesus Christ. It's always something. So the spread is KC minus 1.5. Over and under is 52.5. Money line, Buffalo plus 105. The Kansas City Chiefs look really, really good over the last couple weeks. Especially on the defensive side. Buffalo still doesn't have a real true identity on offense besides Josh Allen. They don't have a whole lot of targets for Josh Allen. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs by 3. I think that the Chiefs are just rolling right now. And then finally, the Seattle Seahawks, 5-2, traveling to the Commanders, who are 3-5 and struggling. And probably the last time I'll ever put them on this list for this year. The spread is Seattle 3.5. Over and under is 46.5. And Washington is a plus 165 money line, which that's kind of surprising. Listen, I'm going with my grandpa Jim. God rest his soul. And I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks on this one. Commanders are not that good this season, but that is it. That is our show for tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching. This has been a fun show for tonight. And tune in next week, Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, as we get a good glimpse of the first college football playoff rankings and our first look at the college football playoffs. What they'll look like with the teams standing in where they sit in for that week. I'm really interested to see how that goes. Especially with the way things are going with the teams this week. Vanderbilt, Texas is a big one. Utah, Cincinnati is a big one. You know? And then, come think about it, USC is important. A lot of teams to look at, and don't forget, Ohio State and Penn State's a game that nobody's going to talk about. I didn't put it on the list because I don't think Penn State has a chance, but I would not be surprised if Penn State pulled something out. Because we've seen some crazy shit this year, so. But tune in next week, Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll have the Week 10 college football recap along with the NFL Week 9 recap. College football Week 11 picks along with the NFL Week 10 picks. And then college football playoff overview. What are we looking at with these playoffs? Or with the bracket? And what are we looking at with the college football playoff rankings? I'm excited. I'm excited to go through this. And we'll talk more if coaches get fired. Blase blah. It is what it is. But tune in next Tuesday night. Love you guys. Goodbye. Mwah. And goodbye. Bang. Toodaloo.